we have this big age spread from our oldest to our youngest is 9 years difference. And that was also the age spread in my family growing up and between the kids. And so one of the challenges is you've got one or two kids that love what you're coming up with for the family to do. And then you have either the odd man out or I don't like this, or it's not interesting for them or age appropriate for them. So that's one of the things we want to talk about today is how to keep building those good connections. Yeah. And we're focusing mainly on families, but this also applies to friends. This also applies to your small group or to your church group, or you're trying to be the one to get that going. Yeah, definitely. So we're just branching off from things that we kind of had our built-in little group with our kids. But so we're going to talk about that.
Hello, friends. Hi. Welcome to the Well-Grounded Podcast. We are so excited that you have joined us today. I am Diane.
And I am Leigh Ann.
And we are here in season 3. And this is episode 2. And so if you did not join us last time, go back and listen to episode 1. Yes. Because it was a great opportunity that we had our guest speaker, Erin, that came and she just came and just shared so much wisdom.
And rich teaching and
about the context of Romans 8:28, which is our theme verse. And things. And those of you who haven't joined us in a while, you'll notice some new things on our set. We have totally redone things, a lot of spring and summer colors. And our theme this time is
all things good.
All things good. And we are just excited to expand on that today. And we have a fun episode.
Oh, this is a fun one. This is a fun one. Yes. We have a good mixture of things planned for this season. And some of them are more, heartfelt and, the game changer kind of understanding of God's word, or of things that people that we're bringing.
Hard times, good times,
people that we're bringing to share their stories or testimonies with y'all. But we also just wanted to intersperse with, just like real life. Yeah. There's a mixture of just the silly, the fun, the lighthearted with the heavy, the real, the life's worries. So this episode is about how our families, if you watched, we had one last summer that was similar, but we're going a little deeper with this today. So this is about kind of how our families follow in and find good connections. So that's what we're looking for. It's not just our families, but things that we've seen other people do too, like best practices kind of things. So what are some of the things we're going to talk about, just as a teaser?
We're definitely talking about game nights, fun traditions, maybe family trips. Yes. Definitely things that, you create those core memories, those things that you go look back later in life and say, wow, these are the things that we got to do together.
Right. But I just want to brag on my sweet friend here. So our latte moment. Yes. What do you have for us? This is incredible.
So today for our latte moment, and those of you who are new to us, we do a latte moment each and every episode. And I purposely come up with some fun coffee drinks. I do not make these up on my own, but I find them on the internet. And this is just a fun way to just bring, our goal with this podcast is to have coffee and conversations, to just be two friends talking over coffee and conversations. And so this latte moment is a iced cherry chai. And those of you who are Starbucks fans, this is a copycat recipe. This came out a few months ago at Starbucks.
Because I've never had it.
So this combines a chai, an iced chai, with a cherry froth that goes on top, and then you add crushed cherries or crushed strawberries or something on top. So
it is delicious.
It's probably a little sweet to the taste, but if you like that, and it's iced, so it's great, goes great for summer.
I prefer to not taste as much coffee in my coffee. All those flavors and fun fruity things. It's so refreshing. Yes. It's so refreshing.
And we're just, anytime anyone wants to suggest any coffee recipes, this is something that we do each and every episode. And so if you have a great suggestion, we would love to put it on air. So send it to us, DM us, put it on Instagram, and let us know. So it's a fun way to get to be part of the podcast.
I love it. Yes. We want to include you in that for sure. And let us know if you're trying any of them. If you did the homemade, if you did the
semi-homemade.
The semi-homemade or the bought it at Starbucks and put it and just sip along, whatever you're sipping. That's great. That's great.
I think it's great.
Yes.
Well, today is also Memorial Day.
Oh, yes. And, this episode is dropping on Memorial Day.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so we do want to just take a moment and just recognize all of those who've made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. And we just salute them and all of their families today. It's a special day of remembrance. Right. And we want to say thank you for that gift of service.
We definitely recognize that freedom isn't free. And even the things that we're talking about today, to be able to do these fun things is part of the privilege of living in a place where people have fought for our freedom and paid that. So we're so
whether
grateful.
You're at a barbecue, a family gathering, something like that, take a moment and just think about that. And there's so many wonderful documentaries and things out there that you can review and look at and share that with your children, because I think that's a great way to teach them and to raise them to know the value in that gift of service that those men and women have given us.
Those conversations that come up naturally for that. Yes. I love it. Thank
so
you.
Very, very good. So, kick us off today, Leigh Ann. What I know you've got some good stuff you're going to share.
So this is I want to start with just a funny story that our now grown kids, we don't have anybody little anymore, Diane.
I know.
I'm struggling.
We're in a grieving moment. Let's take a moment. We're all going to reflect and pause.
Sip on the cherry latte and try to. But when the kids were little, my husband Dan used to say, "Let's just be so fun that they only want to hang out with us." Okay,
which is good.
In theory,
yes,
his heart was good.
Yes,
but we told the kids about it, like they were in on it with us, and so. But one of the things that we really have tried to be intentional about, it has been hit or miss, of course, as kids are growing up and as your family's changing. But we have this big age spread from our oldest to our youngest is 9 years difference. And that was also the age spread in my family growing up and between the kids. And so one of the challenges is you've got one or two kids that love what you're coming up with for the family to do. And then you have either the odd man out or I don't like this, or it's not interesting for them or age appropriate for them. So that's one of the things we want to talk about today is how to keep building those good connections. And we're focusing mainly on families, but this also applies to friends. This also applies to your small group or to your church group, or you're trying to be the one to get that going. So we're just branching off from things that we kind of had our built-in little group with our kids. But so we're going to talk about that. The first thing that we want to recommend is creating those traditions. And I know that's something that you have a very strong heart for. There's a familiarity. It's sort of like at Christmas when you do the same things over and over from year to year. The kids are anticipating it. Even the years that they say, "Oh, we don't have to do that," or "I don't care," or whatever. They really like it.
Yes.
More than not. They really do like it and wanting to do that.
And sometimes in those beginning years, you get the eye rolls and you get the heavy sighs and like,
we've already done this. We've already done this or something.
But take it from us, the ones that we've kind of been there, done that. They really appreciate that. And then when they get a little bit older and maybe they're not always at home, aren't you going to do that again, Mom? Like you always did that. Can we do that tradition again? And so they really do recognize that.
There's familiarity. There's that connection of home, that word connection again. But so some of that is going to be things like the same meal or the same routine around a holiday or around a vacation or something. But one thing that we have found is as much as possible to get off of screens. And this is an ongoing battle for every parent right now. This is not an easy thing. There are people, God bless them, that are like, we just never started it and we don't have to do it. Okay. Well, you get to an age when you're trying to manage that more than just eliminate it altogether. So one of the things that if you don't really remember anything else that we say today, I really want you to leave with the idea that you're not eliminating something, you're replacing it.
Oh, yeah.
So put something better or
in its place,
or more strengthening for your family, for your interactions in the place of it. Exactly. So we love board games in our family, and I'm gonna share this photo of my husband's board game shelf, so I'm gonna show you that. Yes, that's a lot of games. So if you're listening on audio, it's a whole wall of shelving. And
it's very impressive.
Yeah,
it's tremendously impressive.
And it's a 22-year collection that he's developed over the years, and giving.
You didn't start off with your marriage with all those games?
No, he did not lead into that. I didn't know that this. Now, he was always like a books guy. Like we both had collections of things, but games was a new thing. But so it's been this fun journey to find games that were the right age, that were the right difficulty level, that were fun. So one of the things we wanted to share with you is there's an award that board games win every year. Oh, nice. And it's called the Spiel des Jahres. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's German. A lot of these board games are European board games. America has a lot of great things, but these European board games have kind of taken over as, the great thing to do.
The epitome of the board game.
Yes, they just, it's like an art form, in Europe. So they have like the artwork. They actually have like a book would have an author. The games have an author. They have a designer that gets credit for that. And that's how you kind of know your brands. But I want to share a couple of suggestions I brought with me today. These have all won that Spiel des Jahres in years past. So right now, kind of a lot of people that you talk to, Codenames is one of those sit down and play games. So we're going to list all these out for you for sure. But
in our show notes.
Yeah, in the show notes. But Codenames is a group. It's a cooperative game. It's a fun, just start playing. There's no 20-minute orientation to learn how to play it or anything like that. So that's a great game. A lot of people are really loving that one now. I also brought King Domino, which is a similar, you're kind of building your own little castle in front of you, and all different ages really enjoy this. So it's one to bring younger kids into. There's also a Queen Domino that's very fun. Nice. They're really similar. And then Ticket to Ride has 20 versions now? I mean, a lot. There's over a dozen different maps because it's making a journey. So before I get in too deep with that, I just wanted to share there are countless options for this. And the reason that this is something that you can build on complexity because of how the kids age and do that. So having a regular game night or having we did ours on Saturday mornings for a long time because there wasn't a school night and all that. And we'd have a fun breakfast.
Yeah. And then sit down together.
And it's hard because you don't want to require it and make it like you have to play this, but at the same time, just kind of keep offering that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we saw was just some great conversations spurred out of that. Playing by the rules, being a good winner, or having a good attitude about it. I mean, one of our daughters talks about how her dad taught her about not cheating. He caught her changing the dice so she got a better score when she was really little, and she still remembers that conversation with him. Nice. He just was very he was very loving and very honest, very direct with her. But there's all kinds of good conversations that can come up when we talk about that, good connections when you're interacting, doing an activity as a family. So I know you did craft things with your girls.
Yes.
We love to do that with the kids when they were little and stuff. So,
I found it online. I did a little bit of research before coming in today, and it said that research has found that making time to play games together supports more effective and open family communication, which is kind of, of course, so that's what we think about.
Right.
And it says, but the benefits of gaming doesn't stop there. Playing games has also proven to help children with their academic skills of mathematical reasoning and reading. So when you can kind of integrate different games into what they're doing, it's it switches their gears as well to learn different ways.
Right.
And to help people to learn, teach them as well. And so I think that's a benefit.
A fun, sneaky way. It's not like homework.
Yes.
Music has a similar, there was a stat about that, math scores and learning about music and just enjoying music and doing that you have that similar, they're sort of simultaneously in parallel learning something while they're doing it. I love that.
So one of the funny things too that I did as we were getting ready for this episode is I said, well, let me look up some verses that were just things that were, where can we find verses about having fun in the Bible? And so, if there's Google for everything, but I found this verse and I just want to read it to us. It's from Ecclesiastes 8:15, and this is the New Living Translation.
Okay.
So it says, so I recommend having fun because there is nothing better for people in this world than to eat, drink, and enjoy life. That way they will experience some happiness along with all the hard work God gives them under the sun.
Right. That's right.
And I said, that sounds like one of the most fun verses I know that I have found. And I said, that really is the epitome of what you want to do to create those good connections.
Yes. And if you think about the early church in Acts 2, they talk about having dinner together.
Yeah.
Studying the word together, being together. It's that community that gets built up. We use that term a lot here, but whether that's your family or that's friends or that whatever, it is, God created us to have that day of rest, to have that Sabbath, that 6 days, and then on day of rest, He gave us the laughter that He created, the joy that He created, and those connections that we make when we spend time together.
Absolutely.
And it does take some creativity sometimes. If you're going through a season with your kids that they are resisting spending time with you.
Yeah.
That's never happened to us.
Never.
Our kids love hanging out with us all the time. But honestly, it has been a shorter season than I thought. Like people talk about it like, oh, your kids are not going to, but looking for ways to keep pulling that in.
Well, and something to keep in mind that as your kids get older, it's an opportunity. Like when my girls branched out and they were in their college years and they were not at home every weekend, those weekends that they did come home, it did kind of give us a purpose and something that we wanted to do together. And so some nights for us was maybe a movie night.
Right.
We probably weren't as big of a game night family.
But movies are so fun.
When the kids were little, we played games all the time. As we've gotten older, we probably don't as much. Yeah. But we do a lot of movie nights. We were big Marvel movie fans. So we love to watch a good Marvel movie and just, sit around, pop the popcorn and do all that. And so those are those connections that are really important. And, we invite friends and they can invite friends, bring people around. And so that's a way to incorporate when you have kind of a growing family, even, when you start introducing the boyfriends or girlfriends and the son-in-laws and
that you're like expanding out to be inclusive on that.
Yeah.
Did y'all ever dress up to go to the movie launches?
We did not do that. I think when we were younger, they kind of did maybe some of the younger characters, like they would have done that.
Okay. So the Crawfords all had Star Wars t-shirts for the Star Wars games.
Yes.
The Star Wars movies that came out. And so one of Julia's friends, we love you, Jordan, but she used to say, when Mr. Tan orders the tickets for when like a new movie, because you have to get those tickets ahead, it's kind of an intense thing.
Yes.
Here. But and so she was always, can you just include me in? Because my parents are so precious, but they're not. They're not as into it, and so they wouldn't like order it ahead for opening night.
Sure.
And so we always had like our five, and then Jordan was always with us. She's so sweet.
That's so fun.
We were like, you just have to wear a Star Wars shirt if you come. And she goes, no problem.
I can do that. I love it.
Making those traditions with it as silly, and there were definitely times when like I don't want to wear the shirt.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, but you're gonna miss all the fun. But
it is. It is
making
fun.
it funny, kind of making fun of yourself too, not taking yourself too seriously with it. But it is very fun. So
I think that's always a great opportunity to just, be out in a group setting as well. And just showing that joy of the Lord. I mean, we talked about that as well. And, that sometimes, we need to be that example for others.
That's right.
When we're out there and it's great for our kids to see that as well.
It benefits. It's a two-way street with that. Yeah. I think I love that. One of the things that, I mentioned like the age gap thing, and that's true even if your kids are not big age difference.
Yeah.
But just what's fun for parents and what's fun for kids, there is a benefit in meeting in the middle on that sometimes and saying, these are some of my favorite hobbies. I want to teach you about them. I want to, we've heard about like young men having their expert level in something like, like fathers and sons, or, being able to say, you just get to be a total geek about it and know everything about this and just be, go enjoy that. So that also creates those connections.
Well, one of the things that right now in our family that is a big topic is Formula One. We have a lot of people in the family that are very interested. Shout out to my daughter, Faith. She got us hooked on that. About 2 years ago, she took a study abroad year in Europe. And once she came back from that, she was hooked. And so then that translated into, you've got to know about this.
Yes.
And then it just kind of spiraled into so many things. And now we all, I think most of us have
hobby now.
Yeah, most of us have Formula One merchandise. We have Hot Wheels. We have Legos. We have all those things. And when a race comes on, we all kind of gather around and not all, but most of us kind of gather around and watch that. And she's teaching us, which has been kind of fun because we didn't really know much about it and things. And so that's been kind of fun as well.
And when you mentioned that about kids coming home from college, going to visit them, learning about their world, learning about things that they're kind of bringing that interesting hobby or that, niche something to the family. And it really does make it more interesting, and everybody's,
and it
adds
develops
a layer.
That connection.
Yes,
You're
exactly.
hearing us talk about that word today, and that's one of our goals. Is that today is a conversation for you to, kind of think, what are things that I'm doing in my family, or that I can stay connected.
Right.
As your kids get older, as they grow into their own adulthood and what they are interested in, how are you going to stay connected? And it can be challenging. It's not going to just always be easy peasy. Like it really does help. Just you have to work at it.
Right. And doing an analysis, as I was thinking about this when you were saying, like, observing where are they kind of coming alive and wanting to be connected. Yeah. And just your Formula One example is perfect, because that's not something you and Tim gave her. That's something that she brought back to the family, and everybody loved it and benefited from it. So it's neat to see that go both ways, but also just take a quick assessment over the next few months. We're in the summer, whether you're on a trip together, just a day at the beach, just for the day, out to dinner, making dinner, wherever you see your kids and your spouse sort of light up and they are joyful to be there. Yeah. Just sort of make a note of that and say, let's build on this where we already have cohesion. We already have an interest here. Yeah. Let's make a more deliberate effort to do that together. So just sort of being observational about it. I love that. You don't have to like suddenly turn into a board game family if you're not, or suddenly wear the matching t-shirts to see a movie if you don't. I will tell you one more quick example. For us, theme parks, water parks, doing that now. Our guys, mini golf. Yeah. Our guys are golfing and mini golf. That has always been an activity that reached multiple age levels and interests. And even if they didn't, I really want to go to mini golf all the time, they can do an hour or 30 minutes or whatever to do that activity together. And it does bring that out of us. It is fun. So,
well, and just to circle back to another verse that just, and you just kind of referenced it even without even trying, but it says from Proverbs 17:22,
my favorite verse.
It says, a joyful heart is good medicine.
That's right.
And so that is what we want. We want our families to understand that at the end of the day, we're trying to create joy and trying to create memories and those connections that they will be able to draw from when they have their own families and when they're on their own and things. And so it is a big deal. It is a big deal.
And going from your, when you mentioned the good medicine, when there's strife or when there's hardship, that yes, we need to talk it out. Yes, we need to pray it out. Yeah. But sometimes we need to just table this tension and do something fun together. Sure. Like it just lets everybody like move on a little bit, you know? So
sometimes you get kind of stuck. Right. Like you get stuck in a
relationship.
They'll say, you know, relationally. And so like sometimes doing something fun or getting out, like say if you're at home, you know, and everybody's kind of under one roof and underneath everybody's nerves. And so getting outside, doing something, just lets that tension
That's
go.
right.
I agree with you.
And
That's
finding that joy spot and giving yourself that freedom. I love it.
Well, we love this topic, and we love just being able to, kind of go back and forth about it. I think if, this is a topic that we would love to hear more feedback from you.
Right.
So you can find us on Instagram and at Well Grounded Podcast, and just give us some feedback. Give us some ideas. You can also give us comments on YouTube and Apple and Spotify. And so just, keep the dialogue going and let us know what you think. That's what I was
going to, so we want to build that community of that conversation piece. And this is one of the ones that, would be just super simple to do that with.
Yeah.
So watch on Instagram. We're going to be sharing some feedback boxes where you tell us, how does your family connect?
Yeah.
We want to share those ideas with each other. And we just shared a couple of examples. We didn't even get into travel and trips and dinners and cooking together, or there's so many great ways to do this that aren't screens, that aren't feeling like you're tied into something and trying to fight over who gets to pick the show or who gets to pick the thing.
Yeah.
But it's just a group activity. But we want to hear what's working for you.
Yeah.
Like, let's celebrate that and share
great.
that. So,
and I love that. And I think it just ties so well into our theme this year of all things good. And we're trying to see the goodness of God and the everyday.
That's right.
How is he bringing that to our lives and to our family through creation, through our good times and our hard times, but realizing that he is a good God.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we're going to close today with our theme verse. We always do this with our seasons, with season 1 and season 2, and now in season 3.
Love it.
And this verse comes from Romans 8:28, and it says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." And so we're going to keep and resonate with that and just encourage you with that throughout this season.
Yeah. And we just want to do one last commercial for this week, for this episode. Please follow, subscribe, make sure your notifications are turned on so that you don't miss anything that's happening when episodes drop, that you're following along with on YouTube, on that all of them have that. Spotify, podcasts, all of them. So they'll alert you.
The latest and greatest.
I get that. I get that notification on the Mondays that a new episode drops.
It's great.
It's like the first thing in the morning is new episode of Well Grounded. So,
yes. Very good.
But so happy to have y'all on this journey with us. And if God's in it, it's good.
Yes, it is good.
Because he's good. So.
We definitely want to leave you with being refreshed,
be encouraged,
and stay well grounded.